the new CD-ROM game. It's an entire Lego world where you chase a Lego villain, build and race Lego vehicles, and change everything.
If you're like
from the
me
landscape
and you were
to
born in the
people.
1990s, you probably grew up playing a game called Lego Island on the PC. It was actually one of my first games on the computer, and it's been over 30 years since it came out in 1997. The game is pretty basic to today, but getting it to run on modern hardware is really difficult. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to get this game up and running. I'm going to tell you what you need to know before you set forth on the island. You won't have to search over on Google, look for a guide on Reddit. It's all going to be right here in this video. And hopefully, if you've never played the game before, this is going to be a great opportunity. So I'm going to show you how to get the game running, how hard the game is, how long you're going to spend playing it, some fundamental tips, some specific tips and mild spoilers, and then ultimately why you should play it. So how do you play this game? Well, do you have an old Pentium Windows 96 computer lying around? You probably don't. Now I actually have the disc with me. I have my original copy. But if you try inserting this onto a modern computer, it's most likely not even going to work. So I'm going to show you how to get it running from modern systems. There's a lot of different ways to do this, and you can find a lot of guides online, but I'm going to just show you kind of step by step what you need. So first, you need an ISO file. This is like the digital version of the CD, and it's really easy to find on the internet. So this is mostly going to be on places like Abandonware. If you need help finding it, shoot me a message and I'll help you out. It is available. You can find copies on eBay, but like I said, it's just hard to get it running on the disk. So do this method instead. Number 2, you need Lego Island Alternative Installer. So this makes it so that the game can be played on Windows 10 and 11. And then finally, you're going to need something called Lego Island Rebuilder. So first what you're going to do is you're going to run the alternative installer and just let it do its thing. This isn't a big game, so you can just really install it wherever you want. Next, you're going to open up Lego Island Rebuilder, and you need to change some settings here. So back when this game was released in 1997, it was based on 1997 hardware, so the game is really intended to run at like 15 frames per second. So if you just try to run the game right now, like 60 frames per second, everyone is going to be like running and looking like they're injected with caffeine. Your turns are going to be like all over crazy. It's just going to break the controls basically. So I would cap the game at like 25 to 30 FPS, and then also change the following settings. Okay, let's move on to controls. So you don't need a controller for this game. All you need is a mouse and keyboard. This is literally just a point and click adventure game. So the difficulty, this game is really easy. The only things that you're gonna struggle with is just the outdated mechanics. So there's just gonna be times where you have to do stuff or click on something and it's gonna take a moment to figure out what to do. And I'll get into that later. It's also not that long of a game. You're only going to spend maybe an afternoon playing this, so you can actually beat the game in an hour. And then if you want to do 100% just everything, it's probably a couple more hours. I think when I played this game, I think I did most of it in like 2-3 hours, which is just kind of funny because when I played this as a kid, I remember I played it all the time, and I would spend more than just 2 hours. General fundamentals of this game. So this is a kid's game, and the infomaniac, the guy in red, he's going to explain everything, but here's some basics that kind of get you going. So there's 5 main playable characters. There's Mama and Papa Briccolini. Got Nick Brick, I think that's his name. And I totally forgot what the name of the other officer is. Laura, that's who it is, Laura. So you got Nick and Laura, the police officers, and then you have Pepperoni. And so these are the main characters. They all control the same. It's pretty much no different. The only thing that's different between all 5 of them is they have different dialogues on the island. So islanders will say different things to you, but the activities are going to be the same. So it is kind of nice just to see what each islander says. Also, each character can modify the world in some way. So Papa can change how things move. Mama changes the sound effects. Pepper can change the hair or the hat on people, can also change the foliage. Nick can change the color of everything, and then Laura can change the mood of people. And then this gets carried over, so like you can go and mess around with other characters and, you know, cause havoc on the island. But every character can jet ski, run the ambulance, deliver pizza, race, help the mechanic, or design any of the vehicles. So these are like the main activities on the island. You can keep track of your progress in the Infomaniac's tower. It shows who's done what. All these characters, Pepper is the only character that advances the story. So if you just want to get like a quick feel for the game, just play Pepper. Okay, so things that for a first time player, if you've never played before, some tips for you. So my first tip is just explore and walk around. So this is a kind of like an open world sandbox game. It's the first Lego game. And I remember as a kid, I thought the island was so big, but it's pretty tiny. But it's also, when you walk around the island, you'll just get these random interactions. They're pretty bizarre, but they're pretty funny. They still hold up to this day.
Whoa! Hey!
Don't worry. If we can't save it, we can make it tomorrow night special.
Wow, what's that? What a relief. We gotta put up a sign. No pets allowed.
You can also customize all the vehicles. So like the jet ski, the car, the helicopter, you can customize all those. If you want to get around really quickly, you can hop on a skateboard or a bike. The bike is usually up on where the tower is, but you can find them pretty easily. And then also the fun thing to do in this game is there's a lot of cut content. So if you go over to the bank, which is by the beach, that's like a full building, it had a path to it. And I remember as a kid figuring out like, oh, how do you get inside this building and what was this going to be used for? And then there's also a pirate cave that's on the other side of the island. That was, I think, going to be something. And so that's another thing you can check out. Okay, now these are going to be specific tips for the game. So these are a little bit like minor spoilers. Once again, these are just things that I wish I would have known. So number 1, okay, the Brickster Lego piece scavenger hunt. So when you play as Pepper, you have to do this point where you're looking for Lego pieces around the island, and this stumped me as a little kid. So there are several pieces hidden around the island, and there's this weird whistle noise. And you have to, the closer you get to it, the louder it gets. But sometimes it's hard to tell where the piece is. You have to physically click the piece to basically pick it up. So you can't like walk over it, you have to click on it. And I remember for some reason I could not figure that out as a kid. Another thing is there isn't any reward for completing the game 100% with all characters, so just don't expect any prize. You can fill up all those squares in the Infomaniac's tower, but there is no prize. So those are just a couple things with the game. Like I said, it's very simple, it's very straightforward, and I don't know, it's just kind of fun just to kind of walk around. It's a very bizarre world. This last point on why you should play Lego Island. Lego Island, this is, like I said, the first Lego game, and so you can kind of see like where they started off. It was way more bizarre and kind of surreal feeling. It has a really good soundtrack. We're actually going to play a few right now. These are some of my favorites. The gameplay is really simple, but the island is just really unique. I can't think of any other island that's like Lego Island. It's just, I don't know, it's very nostalgic, and it's just fun just walking around the island, taking in the scenes of the whole place. Like I said, this is just a really weird, bizarre game, and it kind of gives you a little bit of history lessons into open world games. So Lego Island, make sure you play it. Go make a pizza, go race some jet skis, and have fun on the island.